What is up, Grad? Welcome back to another video. Today, a quick little update for our room. We have new shelving where all our 3D prints will be, all organization for boxes and envelopes and stuff. Very good organization. And that's actually not what this video is about. My dad's going to talk about it right now.
Whoa, baby. What's up, Ograd? Hey, I just thought I would throw together a quick video on how I'm manufacturing these little cables. I got it down to a pretty good science here, but just in case you guys are feeling frisky and wanted to do this on your own, which, you know, it's a fun little journey, but generally, I figured I'd show you my process. I got it down to, we'll see, between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on how rough of a go I have of each cable, and, you know, it takes some time, but I figured I'd throw it out there. So, what are you doing over there?
I'm actually starting a new print. Because,
yeah. Here, let me,
Whoa. Yeah, I'm starting up a new print. Because, yeah.
Because we got one done, and we're going to make some more product. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started over here. Oh my gosh, you said you were not going to knock my deer head off the table.
Yeah, I said I was going to move it.
And then you knocked it off, so... Oh my god, I don't even know. How am I going to edit this?
I don't know. The fact I caught that thing was pretty insane. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, I'm gonna move these lights away a little bit. Move you guys a little bit closer here, and so there you go. That's now you weren't gonna see my perspective very easily, but you will see the back side of this. So anyway, I've got a nice little magnetized or magnetized. I've got a magnified lighted device that I'm using here because I'm old. And I've got a 2x4 here. This 2x4 has a bunch of different holes in it, drilled a bunch of different ways. It helps me to hold these little guys. They're little tiny 1/8" gold jacks that we use in this process. So basically, we're going to do that. And yeah, I also have one of these little jammies here. I don't use this magnifying glass anymore because I got the big one, but I do use the alligator clip quite a bit. To get this done. Tools wise, I've got a really small needle nose plier here. I've got a nice tiny wire stripper, and then I got cutoff tools. One of the cutoff tools, it goes back and forth depending on what I want to do with it. But one of these is like what you would get with a 3D printer. So anyways, that's what's going on there. Okay, so I'm gonna get started here. The ones that I have come with you know, they come with a little rubber seat here, and because we're using so much cable, I tend to take that right off of there, chuck it away. And then there's also a nice little protective plastic coating here. I take that and I throw them in my little work bin until I'm ready to use them. So I do that with both connectors. I've got the angle connector and a straight connector. I do the same thing. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to open these babies up. I'm going to splay them open. That's going to get me the space that I need on both of these. Okay, boom, boom. And I spread these things out, boom, boom, and there we go. So that's what it looks like when I get it all set and ready to go. I'm going to show you real quick. I'm loading them up on this side just like this. All right, so I wonder if I can put my... See, if I put my camera back here, then you're gonna be in the way of my soldering. So I'm gonna try to get you as close as possible here. Good testament to an Insta360 camera, because you can do all kinds of cool stuff like this. So, all right. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure my cable, and this part is the most horrible part of this process, is getting the exact cable length right. So when I do it, I've got a couple lines here on my 2x4, and I just kind of line it up exactly where I want it, and then I'll take my little handy snippers and I'll cut it right to the edge of the 2x4. This has been the most reliable for me to get the exact length. And then the next thing that I do, move you over just a little bit here, is I take and push my cable all the way into my connector like so, and then I use a razor knife to kind of start this, and then I just roll it around Little disadvantage for me here, but I do usually do this behind the magnifying glass. But anyway, I do that to both ends because you'll see in a minute they're going to be about the same. So the most important thing for me on this cable that I'm finding with this process is picking whatever I want. Now these are just straight through pass-through cables. So, what do you got, an order print over there? Okay.
Yeah, I got a few orders, and I think we should shout these guys out because they're helping us out because, you know, they're giving us productivity to do, I guess.
Things to do.
So thank you for Felipe de Sanval. Sorry if I say your last name wrong.
I think you might have butchered it, bud.
Yeah, I'm sorry. William Thrasher and Frankie Kriegsman.
Ooh, that Frankie's a new one?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
433, actually.
Nice.
Thank you all.
Very good.
So much.
Thank you. Okay, now, this connector has 3. Tip, ring, ground. Tip, ring, ground. TRS, I'm not sure what that exact stands for. But basically, you need continuity from the tip to the tip, to the ring to the ring, and the ground to the ground. And that's what we're shooting for here on this process. So I use the white one for the tip, red for the ring. White one for the tip, red for the ring. That's how I set this up. And then, of course, the ground goes in that little hole right there, okay? So tip, ring, ground. Got it? All right. So it's very important that you strip out your ground to be in the way that you want it. So I do it like this, where my white's to the left, red's to the right, ground is down. That's my first one. That's for my straight through connection. And that's where I start. So once I get it stripped and get the copper ground out where I want it, then I use my stripper and I go ahead and strip out the cables. It's really just a matter of, you know, maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch. That's how I do it. And then I'll go ahead and tin my wires on this little setup over here. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know how this is going to turn out, so hopefully this works out good. Actually, on this one I twist these wires because the holes that I'm shoving these guys in is pretty small. So I really want this to be very tinned very lightly, and I want that to be as tiny as possible. I do not use flux. I'm just using silver wire here, and I use heat as flux because really, once you get it hot enough, solder goes wherever you want. So just being careful with it, getting myself a little basic solder on there helps out. Now, here's another important piece of this. I'm going to get these lights down here so I can see this. First, you don't want any copper wires going anywhere, so you want to make sure that that's really tightly twisted and really pushes through without giving you any kind of fits. Second, you're going to use the white wire as the guide. You want the white wire to be as short, and you don't want to ever cut the white wire or the red. You're not going to cut either the red wire or the white wire when you're doing the straight through connection.
Man, that was a tongue twister.
I know. So I'm going to pull this back as far as I can pull it to make sure that the black is deep and is right next to the crimping. What do you call this? I don't even know. I guess it's a cable relief. And I'm going to crimp that so it's right on the edge of the silver. And you'll see that the white is not going to have to be, you know, I might have to pull that a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit crazy. So I'm going to show you the other side now because that's where we're at in the process. I'm going to have red down because red is going to be the ring and white is going to be the tip. And on the 90-degree connector, the top is the tip and the bottom is the ring. Top, tip, ring, right, red, all that fun stuff. So just using these little things I remember. But once you get, I mean, if you're going to do a lot of them, you want to remember that stuff. If you're going to only do one, Just take your time, pay attention, and there you go. So, okay. So that's what that's going to look like. Tip top, ring down, and there's that. Now, why am I doing this? Well, I've got to pull this white wire out, and this is a small, short cable, so I can actually grab a hold of this guy and give it a little tug. Instead of trying to cut my wire, I want to pull it out a little bit, and then, oh my gosh, I need to have my little magnifying glass here. And I'm just gonna push this right in there. And as I bend these back in, okay, the shorter I need the cable to be. That's what that looks like. So I'm gonna go do the other side, my red. I'm gonna tug that guy through. And then get him set up. I'm gonna try something here. Move the camera to the other side. Maybe you can see this. I'm not soldering right at the moment, so I wonder if you can see through where I'm seeing here. Maybe, I don't know. So anyways, I'm just trying to get this fella to go through the little hole here. And as I bend this down, you'll see it pulls through. And once that's nice and straight, all I do is crimp that side down like that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. Hopefully you guys like that. I'm looking for any fray wires here on the ground, and no, so we're good. So now I'm going to put this guy in here, and I'm going to leave you over here. I'm going to try to solder this without the magnifying glass. I think I can do that. Just kind of show you where I'm at. So here we go. All I'm going to do is get a little bit of tin on the tip, bing bong, fill it in, spin it around. And we're looking really good. I'll get some tin on there. And do the ground. Ground takes a little work because you want to get some on the inside, and you're getting things a little hot, and you really want to be careful of that, because if you get them too hot, then your rubber casing is going to melt. So you don't want to get too crazy with that piece of it. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm here, while I'm waiting for that to cool down a little bit, is I'm going to go ahead and tin this 90-degree connector. Notice I didn't tin the straight through. Okay, I'm just only tinning the 90. I don't know why. It just seems to work out really good this way. And then I do tin the pan a little bit, and that's that. So that one's all set. This is kind of warm. We're good. Now I'll take and cut off this fella. And there we go. Now you'll see when I go to put things back together, I get stuff out of my handy dandy little tray. I'm going to put my plastic. Everything looks really good. Make sure there's no shorts or anything like that. Push this guy on. Push this guy on. Screw it on, and you're good with one side. The next thing I want to do is I want to load up the other connector. And this is a pretty important step, because if you forget to do this, don't ask me how I know, but you will for sure regret it, because you'll have to desolder everything. So you want to put these two guys on here, which gets your 90-degree end done. Put these guys in. Oh my goodness. And now I can go ahead and work on putting my 90-degree end on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now it's a little bit of a test fit. So I put the ground in, and I want my white, like I said, I don't want to cut my white cable. So I'm going to move my black back into this stress relief crimp as far until that white is perfectly on there. And then I pull my white guy out of the way. And then I just trim up my red, because my red's going to go on the lower shelf. So I give that a cut. Make sure that looks good. So now my red length is great. Now I'm going to take it back apart. Trust me, seems like a lot of redundant screwing around here, but consistency is king for me, and I'm not very good at this, so I gotta have everything on my side. So there we go. I get that guy off, and then I peel a little bit off of the white side, and that's what it looks like. Now, to help myself out, I'm going to tin these guys up a little bit. Just a quick little tin job going on here. I guess the camera on this side isn't so bad. So tin, tin, tin. I'm not tinning a lot. Like I said, I'm just using the heat of the liquid on the tip to tin that. And then those are done. And then make sure I don't have any stragglers on the copper. I trust me, I do this a little faster when I'm not narrating, and I can also see better when I'm looking through my magnifying glass, but I think this makes for better video for you guys. So I make sure those are in there nice and tight. I crimp my cable relief. Make sure there's any last adjustments that I need to make with that. I make them. It's okay if the ground touches your cable relief, obviously, because it's a ground. And then put that in there. Now we're good. Now I'm going to take and do my red first. So I'm going to use my 2x4 over here. This is really pretty nice the way I've got this set up. Okay, because I've got a couple different holes and I've got them drilled different ways. And what I found is I use my razor knife that I used to cut my original casing, and I just put that right on top of there, and then I come back with a clean soldering iron, and I give that a little push down with my razor, and I am good to go. And then I do the same with the white. Get my razor blade in there, give it a little push, and we are good to go. There, I'm going to pull up my fancy dancy little magnifying glass here and take a look at everything. Make sure I'm in good shape with those two connections, and I am. Last thing I got to do is my ground. That's easy. I got a angled cut here, an angled hole, right? And then I get a little tin up on my, I don't know if I was going to do that razor blade. I got a little tin up on my soldering iron tip, and I tin this last cable, and I try to get a little inside because I'm going to tin the outside a little bit. There we go. I'm going to cut the outside so it's flush. Okay, here's that. All right, get this guy off of there. Nice, it looks really good. And now I'm going to put the plastic over top, and then I'm going to close it up. Now I've gotten pretty good at this, and there we go. So the last thing I got to do is test this cable. I got tip to tip. It's got to be continuity. Ring to ring is continuity, and then base is your ground continuity, and make sure that there's no shorts between those. So let's. If
you want to come over toward me,
yeah, let's have you do it. You want to test that?
Yeah, this is the new one that you just made.
Yep. Test your connectors first. Make sure it's beeping. There you go. Okay.
So you want to be sure that you line up these two first, so you get that one and that one. They beep. That means they're good.
Yep.
And you want to test the other two. Make sure there's no continuity with the other two.
Right. You don't want to beep there, because if you do, then it means you got a short.
Perfect. Test the other two.
Yep.
And then bottoms. Perfect. Test the other two. And this one is a clean cord, which will be going to one of you guys.
Boom shakalaka. That's the end of the video. I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be. Thanks for watching. And peace out, Agrad. 19